The point that I think that struck me when I was watching one of your videos was you said, if all of the racism in America goes away, poof, this instant, black people will still be poor.
Yeah.
So that I was like, wow, yeah, that is true. And what's that gonna do? Right? Like, so I feel like, okay, if we're addressing the 1% of the problem instead of the 99% or whatever, or we're attacking a much smaller cause as opposed to a much bigger cause.
Yeah, it's the non-issues that they're attacking, and it's kind of just diverting the attention away from the real problems. And I hate like kind of speculating that they want that to happen. They want the real problems to continue so they can keep speaking about it and keep saying that we want justice. But I mean, I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt. So.
Well, the anecdotal accounts you can never get away from. And the sad thing is people don't like to quantify them. So as long as they happen even once, like this beautiful meme with this lady in the park who called, I don't know if you saw this.
I did.
Yeah, Barbecue Betty. Or, no, Barbecue Becky, sorry. When that happens, that immediately gives fodder to this fact that racism is, of course racism, but you're always going to have your pocket racist.
Yeah.
You're there wherever it is. Now, how does that, can you quantify that and say how much of that, has seeped into institutions? How many people in places of power or in hiring positions are going to be in a park calling, the police on black people?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, it's especially because people are so quick to go to the news, and I've never experienced racism, or I don't think I have. I mean, I probably have, and I just didn't think that it was. And I hate saying that because I'm sure there are so many other people that have. I mean, individual racism. And there's, the occasional crazy person. Because people have cameras nowadays, and because people can film things, and people can call the news and say, hey, guess what happened to me? Then they can take one story and blow it up. So the Starbucks thing, there's so many white people, I would say, that have been kicked out of Starbucks, but that doesn't matter because it's not on the news. When the guy at H&M, there are all these different stories that when it comes up, I would say, hey, I can probably point to so many other white people that this happened to, but no one cares because it's not on the news. As long as you can get to the news, they can blow it up and say, hey, this is common case with all black Americans or black Canadians, and this is what we all go through every day. We're always yelled at when we're having barbecues. And that's just, I don't know, that's not the reality.
So is this just, it's an uphill battle? I mean, victim culture is always going to exist. It's so easy to paint yourself into a victim narrative. And this isn't just with race relations. I mean, in a relationship, you can always paint yourself. I mean, I do this. Sometimes I catch myself like this with my wife. I'm like, fuck, why didn't she clear the dishwasher? I'm the victim here because I did all these things and she was supposed to do that. And that's wrong. That leads to fights and it's annoying. So you always have to catch yourself not trying to frame yourself as a victim and really make it into a conversation. But that's the easy path. And we know that the vast majority of human civilization is going to take the easy path. So are we just, are we going uphill here?
It's the culture that is changing. And there are a lot of events and a lot of initiatives in Canada. I mean, Trudeau is now doing a systemic racism tour around Canada. He's going to ask black Canadians how they feel about what kind of systemic racism. Like, you're the freaking prime minister. If there's systemic racism, you should be able to see it. That says, hey, black people can't do this. Point to it, Justin Trudeau, for Christ's sakes. But I don't know. I feel like Canadians are just getting more and more radical in a sense, which scares me because then the far right are going to get up as well.
So I have a question, Josephine. Is it because the media tends to lean left, and as when Trump was elected, the lean has intensified? So now you'll get like the coverage of these Hamas protests recently have been outrageously far left leaning, and absolutely spreading lies when previously it wasn't this bad.
Yeah.
Do you think that has had an impact? Because let's say you do have a college and it's private, public, doesn't matter, and they have some sort of incident and they come out and say, this isn't racist. We don't have racism. We're equal opportunity, whatever it is, but they object to whatever story is being spun with objective truth. And they get lambasted by CNN, NBC. And if that happens, they're going to see a drop in enrollment.
Yeah, they're I think Evergreen State College, California, and there's one more I forgot, but that their enrollment rate just dropped. It plummeted. There's one that I think it dropped.
Especially, it was where it went way down.
Yeah, and it's just
Missouri fan in the audience. we do, and she's in the studio.
Hi, Erica.
Apparently. So the Evergreen example though, that's the opposite though. Didn't they see a drop in enrollment because they were like fundamentalist leftist?
Yeah, Evergreen was different, yes, because people were just like, I don't want to deal with that. I mean, if the students can actually hold teachers hostage for the day, I definitely do not want to go to that school. So yeah, that's where we see the opposite, which is awful. And they're having sorry?
I mean, like Missouri, right? You could either think, holy shit, there's a real problem with white supremacy on Missouri's campus, or you could think, holy cow,
okay,
like
what happened
left
in Missouri?
activists are crazy
some of us
too.
don't know.
So, well, in Missouri, this was after like the Michael Brown protests, which you, I think, correctly point out. Like Josephine is critiquing one of Kat Black's, who's talking about, oh wow, Beyonce's song raised this into a national conversation, and Josephine's like, no, Michael Brown's shooting raised this to the national conversation, which is correct. And then you see not too long is Missouri talking about Black Lives Matter, and there's this huge day where there's a protest at Missouri, and then some student is with a camera covering it as a reporter, and one of the faculty members comes in and says, get out of here, get out of here. He goes, no, this is public, I'm allowed to be here. And then she says, can I get some muscle over here to eject the student? Right now, this is, and she's angry, she's fired up, so this goes viral. And like she eventually, I think, gets fired. But like you can either think, oh wow, there's a real problem with white supremacy here, because there's a lot of people saying that, and then there are a lot of people saying, wow, this is crazy left. So together, you think the enrollment were down 35%. They had to close 9 dorms. It was bad for University of Missouri.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding, like just out the door. Yeah, it was awful. And something about the the dean, I believe. There's some controversy around him as well. I'm not sure. I remember though.
He eventually, I think, resigned.
They protested and said they wanted him to resign, and parents were really mad that he did resign and said, "Are you really going to listen to these children?" And then a lot of people started pulling their kids out of the school because if that's what I think.
Money. Like, and that this is a huge, like the endowments, like Harvard is probably okay, right? Their endowment will keep them going forever. But University in Missouri, like, it's like they are really dependent on the alumni. So I think the word has to get out there. So they did lose some money there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, schools are scared. I mean, when you get the stamp of racism, it's very, very hard to wash off. And it doesn't matter the context. So they're just going to try to avoid it altogether. So no one can form their own conclusions from it, which is unfortunate.